All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to another very special episode of Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here today for another show that is probably going to be one of the most interesting and telling shows that I've done, probably period. It is regarding a group of people that have been coming at me for years, led by one person that I'm currently suing in a circuit civil case. And things just keep getting more and more and more interesting. The amount of coordination involved through many people in this group, the abuse that's going on is just unbelievable, especially, when it comes to people with special needs that, are being used in ways that are just not right. And that is something that I do not take lightly. I'm going to be sharing more about that in just a little bit here. But as always, before we get to everything, let me make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Let me check out the back end of YouTube and make sure it is rolling well. Looks like it is. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Don is here first. Tia is second. ODN is third. Welcome to the show, everyone. This is gonna take probably an hour and a half to 2 hours. There's a lot to go over, and I'm gonna paint the picture for you all, so you really understand it. And it's going to be done in a very respectful, mature, and professional way, just like my lady's YouTube channel name, which has no content on it. Who knows? Maybe Dawn will get her own channel going at some point, or she'll just keep on working with us. Regardless, she'll keep working with us. But anyway, so the back end's rolling well. Let's check out and see if the notification's gone out. Looks like it has. And let me do a sound check. More about that in just here. But as always, before we get to everything, let me make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Let me check out the back end of YouTube. Wow, people are flying in here. They've been waiting to hear what I have to say. I wasn't going to go live today, but after everything that I I saw, even things that were tried to be done in a sneaky way. They don't get past me. They don't. So let's get to the title here and we'll get right to it. The topic of this show is someone's using YouTube as a security blanket like Linus. Listen up, RJ. One more time. Someone's using YouTube as a security blanket like Linus. You know Linus, Charlie Brown's friend with the security blanket. And listen up, RJ. Now, I got a bunch to talk about here today. We've got a situation with someone that I consider a good friend. I always have. RJ is a blind and autistic YouTuber that I really have a lot of respect for. I care a lot about him. I have nothing bad to say about RJ at all. But RJ, you can be very sneaky at times. And even though I still consider you a friend, I always will. We can continue to talk behind the scenes if you'd like. No problem. But if you do some sneaky stuff on YouTube, RJ, unfortunately, I'm going to call that out. And if you want to consider it drama, it is absolutely not drama. This is just basically correcting the record. This is just, seeing what's going on, identifying certain behaviors, why people are doing them, and how to turn it around, right? So, and then we also have the plaintiff in my circuit civil case, someone that I've known for over 8 years on YouTube. For the last 6+ years, he has commercially exploited me unlike anything you've ever seen. He has, defamed me publicly and also done that for money. He's defamed me for dollars. And just a whole bunch of other things. And he works with a bunch of people that help him amplify his message and help him do coordinated things, which all lead back to his channel for the main event, whatever live stream he's running that particular day. Or, he typically does maybe 3 or 4 live streams a week, right? I'm not going to be asking or answering questions in the chat that are kind of trollish. Maybe they're not trollish, but I'm not going to be answering certain questions like that. Anyway, so with that being said, I'm going to be sharing with you folks what the defendant also did last night on his stream. He talked about my girlfriend Dawn for a while, and I'm going to clearly explain to you what the purpose of that actually was, besides what he was trying to lead his audience to believe it was about, right? It's all going to be done in a very cool, calm, and collected way. Anyway, so give me just 1 second here, folks. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay. We are back live. We are back live, and we are just going to scratch and get right back down to business. Sorry about that. I had to check something out real quick. All is good. All is well. All right. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and it's rather comical, if anything, but I also want to correct the record. I also want people to know exactly what's going on. First of all, absolute crickets from that entire group of people, with the exception of RJ, who put out a pre-recorded video about 4 hours ago earlier this morning. It's afternoon now pretty much everywhere, even here on the West Coast. Time of this live stream is 12:34 p.m. right now, Pacific time, 3:34 p.m. Eastern time. So crickets, why? Because I'm going to explain it to you. I'm not going to give you the full Cliff Notes synopsis at the beginning, because then it's going to take away from the whole show, and I want to go in a little more detail. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and get right to it, okay? So let's slow this down and look at what's actually happening with RJ. We're going to be paraphrasing what he said on his pre-recorded video that he did earlier this morning. And let me make sure once again that everything is good and that I've unmuted. I have.
Pretty much everywhere here on the West Coast. Time of this live stream is 12:34 p.m. right now.
All right, we're good. We are absolutely good. Well, I'm going to answer questions, but I'm not going to answer questions that are trying to get me to insult people or question, other aspects. I'll respond to what I've prepared to respond to. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out here while we're live. Okay, so paraphrasing, we're going to be paraphrasing what RJ was saying in his pre-recorded video earlier this morning. The timing and the behavior patterns, not vibes and not guesses. I'm going to be very clear and structured here because this isn't random and it isn't subtle. Number one, this video is about you without naming you. Classic indirect engagement. RJ, that video was made towards me. I heard that video. I'm a subscriber to your channel. I like who you are. I've always liked who you are. I think you're a great guy. I just think, honestly, whenever that group that you say you're trying to stay away from and you're trying to stay away from drama, whenever they infiltrate your chat, this is what happens. You get a bunch of views on that stream, and then you try to feed off of that, and then what? You get 6 to 8 views like you did on that video this morning because they didn't show up. They didn't show up because they didn't get what they wanted. They wanted me to freak out, flip out, call you out, do something crazy, right? And I didn't do that, and I'm not going to do that, right? So basically, you're talking about me, and you were talking about me in a very passive-aggressive type of tone, right? So yeah, I mean, he had a video that was, does attitude affect purpose? In that video, RJ spends a disproportionate amount of time on, and this is what he was saying. He was calling me out on this stuff, or even people in general, but it was directed towards me. Indirectly. Going at people, calling others mentally and emotionally unstable. Drama creators, complaining about trolls, blaming algorithms, losing credibility through conflict, people walking away when someone is involved in drama. All of those things are things I've said and said recently, but in the right context to correct the record regarding things about me that have been said that aren't true. False statements said as fact, also known as defamation of character, right? That cluster isn't abstract philosophy. It is context-dependent commentary. And the context is you. It's me. I'm the context, RJ. Your boundary stream and the sudden exposure he got from the defendant's orbit. So basically, the stream you did yesterday, where the defendant's group showed up there, and you have, 160 views on that right now, right? And you basically got that idea from my Walking with Purpose stream that was about boundaries the evening before, right? Key tell from the transcript. So, I mean, RJ's saying things like, if we have an attitude that stinks, if we're always going at people, if we're saying to them that they're mentally and emotionally unstable, if we're engaged in drama, he's basically putting it out there. He's reframing that. He's taking everything I've said, and then he's saying, how is that living with purpose? That's a big stab at me, RJ. And I'm not mad. You have the right to do commentary on me. You have the right to call me out on anything you want. I really wish that you would mention me directly. I really wish that you would say, hey, let's do a live stream and talk about this, or a pre-recorded video and talk about this, right? But there's a reason why you won't do that. We're going to get to that, right? That line only makes sense if he's responding to someone specific. Otherwise, it is oddly defensive and oddly detailed. That person, RJ, is me. Okay? Number 2, the boundary stream was not coincidence. It was reactive mirroring. Yeah, you mirrored me. You copied me. Your stream, respecting boundaries, is a two-way street. His stream the very next day was about setting boundaries. And he was saying, how, it helps you living with purpose. Okay, great title. But you copied that from me, and you did it because we were talking about reconnecting behind the scenes. And when we talked about it publicly, you had told me to go public and say that you're not involved in drama. Next morning, you do the stream, and then basically that same group that's been pinning and pitting us against each other for years tried to do the same thing. It didn't work because I didn't fall for it. And I'm not saying you're falling for it, but you're playing into it, whether you see it or not, or whether you think you are or not. You're playing into it because you saw views that you haven't seen in a while. When you're getting 5 to 10 to 20 views per video or stream, and then you get 160, I mean, come on. It speaks for itself, right? That's not parallel thinking. That's reactive mirroring. But here's the key. He changed the framing. You changed the framing, RJ. I framed boundaries as mutual responsibility. RJ, you reframed boundaries as a moral corrective aimed outward. You made it a moral thing, right? I stated it as mutual responsibility. This is a classic move when someone feels watched, feels evaluated, wants the benefit of your topic without aligning with you. So basically, RJ, you want the benefit of, reviewing my content, responding to me without aligning with me because you're afraid of what the defendants group is going to do to attack your channel and affect your channel algorithmically, which too late, RJ. Here's the thing. Newsflash. See, I'm not a part of the drama because all I'm doing is correcting the record in a cool, calm, and collected way. And I have all these people blocked here so they can't chat. And I only respond to things that make sense for me to respond to. You, sir, just reinserted yourself back into the drama. Congratulations. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel that RJ, whether he realizes it or not, just put himself right back into the drama. And we all know what's going to happen next. We all know what's going to happen next, RJ. We all know. Lather, rinse, repeat, right? Mr. Defendant, lather, rinse, repeat, right? The difference is I know how to play the game better this time. And the joke's not going to be on me. It's going to be on all of you, including you, RJ, and including the defendant in his group, right? So you want all the benefit of using my content, which you're just talking about it. You're not violating my copyright. And no problem. I'd have no problem, RJ, if you wanted to use clips of my content. You're one I would give permission to, no problem. But you want the benefit of all that without aligning with me. Oh, man. This is funny. Okay, sorry about that. Number 3, the defendant's group attention created a temporary validation spike. So that group that was there on your stream yesterday, RJ, they created a temporary validation spike. I've been talking about this for years. Your read here is spot on. 156 views yesterday. Largely the defendant's people were there. 8 views today on your video, RJ. Organic baseline, 8 views. That's a big difference, 156 to 8, right? This is borrowed attention, not earned audience. Let me check out the chat real quick. Everyone's putting the one in the chat. Tia, Jaded, Canadian, my lady, everyone. They all know what's going on. So do you, RJ. So does the defendant. You all know this, right? Okay. What happens psychologically? Sudden visibility feels like validation. So you get all of these people showing up. You say you're trying to stay away from drama, yet you let the most dramatic group on the planet, in my opinion, into your chat while you're trying to state your positive message. That's a contradiction in real time. And I'm not even reading off the script right now, RJ. That's off the top of my head. Sudden visibility feels like validation, but it is unstable. And it comes with implicit loyalty pressure. Implicit loyalty pressure from that group, RJ, that's trying to hold on to you and control you, RJ. But that's okay. That's on you. I still have respect for you. I still like who you are. I'm still your friend. I will always be your friend. I'm just correcting the record right now, RJ. That's all. RJ got attention without having to attack you directly. You got attention, RJ, without having to attack me directly. And that is the dangerous middle ground. That's the dangerous middle ground. He doesn't want to alienate them. You don't want to alienate the drama group. You say you're trying to get away from drama, but you won't alienate them. You won't block them. I keep telling you, you want to rid yourself of drama? Do what I did. Block them and move on. But no, you like the attention from them. And if you don't and choose not to block them, you're contradicting yourself. He doesn't want to fully join them because he hurts them algorithmically regarding the audience he actually wants to reach. So he thinks he can have the best of both worlds. That's not the way it works, RJ. You got to pick a side. You're either drama or you're not. And right now you're trying to be half drama and half genuine. It doesn't work that way, man. So he talks around you instead of to you. So you talk around me in a roundabout way, passive aggressively, right? To try to still get that group to come back and give you the views. And what happens? They don't bite. You know why? Because I didn't bite. Because if I don't bite, they're not coming anywhere near you. Because here's the thing, RJ, the truth of the matter is, all of you, RJ, and the defendant's group and everyone aligned with him that does content, you're all dependent on my content to survive. Put a 1 in the chat again if you feel this entire group of people, RJ, the defendant, and the rest of the cronies involved, are dependent on me reacting and overreacting for content. So you talk around me instead of to me. You're more than welcome to come on a live stream of mine, and we can talk about it. Now, I do have a 1-minute delay between what I say and what goes out. So if you or anyone else were to come on my streams and you try to ambush my streams or try to do something to get me in trouble with YouTube, I will just dump the delay and then kick you off the panel. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just forewarning you folks. If you're thinking of trying something like that, I already have protective measures in place. And if you do that, it's only going to make matters worse because I'll go live the very next day or same day and just talk about it again in a cool, calm, and collected way, right? That's why the tone feels passive-aggressive and tense. You were passive-aggressive. You were passive-aggressively talking about me, and you were very tense because you're torn. You want to be friends, and you want the engagement with the drama group. Either you want to be friends with some of them, and you want the engagement but you don't want the algorithm to punish you. You want the best of both worlds. And then you want to be friends with me too, but you don't want to associate with me, even though I create real content that would help you head in the right direction. You don't want to do that because of my lawsuit on the defendant, because you think I'm involved or connected in drama. I'm not. All I'm doing is correcting the record. Bunch of ones in the chat again. Ones in the chat again, RJ. RJ, you have a mod wrench here. You can come here and chat if you'd like. You're more than welcome to chat, RJ. You're a friend. You have a mod wrench. Come here and chat, and you can share how you feel. Hey, who knows? Maybe I can open up the StreamYard and pop you on in the middle of the stream. Number 4, the attitude lecture is actually self-soothing and positioning. Watch what he keeps doing in the transcript. Reassuring himself he's not blaming the algorithm. Oh, this is not the algorithm's fault, RJ. This is you making choices and feeding those choices into the algorithm. Right? You let those people come there and chat, right? And indirectly, you don't realize you're feeding into their drama cycle. And guess what? Your channel, RJ, is now back in that loop because you let them come there. You let them come there. You let them chat. You letting them chat affects you algorithmically too. That's why I have them all banned here. I don't want them attached to me algorithmically. But you won't ban them, RJ. You won't ban them at the same time you say, you don't want any drama. Okay. Repeating he ignores trolls. No, you don't. You don't ignore anything. You talk about it in a passive-aggressive way because you want to talk about it without it affecting you algorithmically. And that's where I come in and read between the lines and call it as I see it and for what it actually is. Emphasizing he's no longer in drama. Welcome back to the drama, RJ. Put a 1 in the chat again if you think RJ just welcomed himself back into the drama. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel RJ just welcomed himself back into the drama. Not me, the defendant's drama. Right? You don't think they're going to come back over there? They're going to come back. Why? Probably because I'm talking about it. Right? It's not going to affect me because I have them all blocked, but you want to let them chat. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see how you handle it. If you want to prove to us that you're out of the drama and you're looking to move forward in a positive way, let's see what happens. Let's see how you handle it. That's not what's happening, Sandra. You're entitled to your opinion. I respectfully disagree. I'm doing what I have to do. It's the right thing. Thank you. Appreciate it. Stressing credibility, perception, and losing friends. Okay. What do you have to back that up? Those are not teaching points. Those are identity defenses. Example, he was talking about when he was involved in the drama that people would walk away from his channel. Right. I've got people here, RJ. I have 50 people here legitimately watching me here. This is not drama. This is just sharing what actually happened. I'm like reporting the news here. I'm out here calling out really, really horrible behavior. Sneaky, horrible behavior, right? Let me see. That's him telling himself, I'm not that guy anymore. No, you are that guy. If you're not that guy, when I reached out to you behind the scenes, And I said, hey, block these people, ignore them. Let's create some real content together, positive content. You would have accepted that offer. You don't have to. You have the right to say, no, I respected your wishes. But not only did you decline that offer or said, yeah, when this court case of yours, gets all handled, then maybe we can do stuff, right? No, it's not about that. That court case is going to go on for a year or two, right? It's not about that, right? It's not about that. You're trying to double dip here. You're trying to get the drama views and you're trying to grow organically at the same time. Let me tell you from experience, that doesn't work. You got to pick a side, right? You're trying to please everyone and it's not going to work. And you're going to see it in your numbers and trust me, you'll see it. You'll see it on your own. I'm still here for you. I'm still your friend. And you're more than welcome to come on a show with me. You're more than welcome to invite me on a show with you. We can talk about this publicly if you'd like. We can talk about it privately behind the scenes. But because you went public with what you went public with what you did today in a passive aggressive way, that's why I'm talking about it publicly. I'm talking about what you put out publicly. Right? So that's him telling himself, I'm not that guy anymore, which he is. Don't pull me back into this. They didn't pull you back in. You pulled yourself back in. Right? At this point, RJ, they're not the ones to blame. It's you. You're pulling yourself back in because you want more views. And you want to please everyone. And you're thinking that if you ban them, that it's going to, that if you ban them, they're going to talk smack about you. And they're going to start the whole thing over again. They're going to do that regardless, RJ. You worry so much about what other people are doing that you lose focus on what you should do for yourself. And then that's him saying that I'm better now. You're not fooling me, man. You're not. So that's him telling himself all of that, which only happens when someone feels pulled. He feels pulled between their side and our side, the good side. I'm not trying to pull him anywhere. All I've ever done is support the guy and try to help him stay on track and move past these people, right? And then it sounds like, it sounds like he's not happy that I sued the defendant. Are you kidding me, RJ? I've been commercially exploited for years. This guy's made over $200,000 off my name and likeness. He's defamed my character and made money off of it called defamation for dollars, right? He's violated my copyright. There's going to be a federal copyright case coming soon too. There's already a copyright claims board case in action regarding a couple of videos. There's going to be a total of 5 videos in the federal case. You want to stay away because I'm doing the right thing. I'm a good person. I'm defending my rights as an American, RJ. I'm an American defending my civil rights and my copyrights. And that to you is wrong? Anyone in my shoes, including the defendant or you, would be doing the same thing if you were in my shoes. So please, spare me. Spare me, okay? Number 5, he's indirectly invalidating you to avoid confronting you. Yeah, you're basically talking smack about me when I've been nothing but nice to you, because that's what works with that audience that gives you the views, right? The defendant's audience, right? Notice what he never does. He never names you. He never addresses boundaries directly. Where are the boundaries that you addressed? He never engages your actual framing. None of you ever engage my actual substance because it doesn't suit your narrative of drama. He never credits the overlap. You never credit that you got this idea from my Walking with Purpose stream the previous day, right? That's called attribution. Now, you're not required to do that legally, but it's a nice thing to do if you're going to take an idea from someone. Hey, I got this idea from Coach Corey Wayne. I say it all the time. Do you know what attributions are? It's a courteous thing to do, man, because if people were taking from you legally, like in fair use style, you'd want them to attribute you too. So practice what you preach. Instead, he sets up a straw version of a creator who goes at people, complains, blames others, is involved in drama. That's me. And I'm not, listen, I've never been involved in drama. All I've done is defend myself. I don't blame others. I share the truth. I correct the record. I don't complain. I state what's going on and how it affects me and how it affects anyone in my shoes. And I teach a lesson on it, RJ. And goes at people, you're talking about me because you're thinking me doing response videos to correct the record is going at people. No, it's correcting the record. It's basically saying, hey, what these people are saying about me is false. Here's why. Here's my proof, right? That allows him to distance himself from the defendants. That allows him to distance himself from the defendant publicly. So you want all the benefit of his audience while algorithmically, steering clear, right? Thinking it's going to help you grow organically. It's not. Still appease the defendant's audience implicitly. You're appeasing the defendant's audience implicitly. And avoid direct conflict with me. Too late for that. You created the conflict, and I'm not mad. I'm just stating what you did and why you did it. This is avoidant triangulation. Avoidant triangulation. Six, why today's video collapsed 8 views. Because without the defendant's people, the subtext disappears, RJ. The tension disappears. The audience doesn't know who he's talking about. You did a stream. You were obviously triggered. You were very, very passive aggressive, right? You mentioned things that you've talked about me before publicly and privately behind the scenes. So people that come across that video, if they even do, are going to be wondering who's he talking about? Why is he upset? Why is he speaking in passive aggressive tone? What's really going on here? Right? But I know what's going on because I know all these people for years. The audience doesn't know who he's talking about, and the message becomes generic and unfocused. Generic and unfocused, right? Yesterday's stream worked because it was reactive. It was drama. Now, you tried to not make it about drama. That group came there to try to keep you on a leash, per se, to keep you away from working with me because they know if we work together, we can create greatness together and outgrow them. And if I outgrow them, they no longer have me as their content product. And that, in essence, puts them out of business, right? Today's video failed because reaction requires an audience that shares the context. You didn't give them what they want. You didn't talk about me directly. Now that I'm making it clear, they're probably going to go check out your video. And who knows what they do, if anything. But in the past, they've taken streams of mine like this, and then, they go over and see what you're doing, and you know what's happened. You know what's happened after that. I can't predict what will happen here, but whatever happens, man, you did that to yourself. You put yourself in that position. I tried to help you get away from that, which is what you said you wanted. All I've tried to do is help you accomplish what you've always wanted to accomplish, including now currently staying away from drama, because I'm doing the same thing. but you whisked me off to the side and you allowed them to come around. Let's see if you're cool and calm or if you overreact, RJ. Let's see how you handle this. Respectfully, I'm still your friend. I have a lot of love for you. But let's see what happens. Number 7, bottom line. What's really going on with RJ? Here's the clean read. RJ is watching you closely. You're watching me closely. You're probably watching me right now. You have a mod wrench here, RJ. Come in and chat. Feel free to chat. It's all good. Thank you. I see the chat. Thank you, Sandra. Sandra, I'm not upset at you. I get why you're saying what you're saying. This is not on the tax stream, Sandra. This is basically just identifying the behavior. That's all. That's all. Sandra, I have a lot of respect for you. You and Tia and Don and ODN. You guys are the executive team. There's a reason why you're the executive team. I trust you more than most other people out here, or period. And I know you know that. I just want to make it clear, Sandra. I have the deepest respect for you and everyone else, but I'm just talking about you right now. I know you're trying to help me. I know you're trying to protect me. I want you to know I've got this. And I still want your feedback, always. In the chat or privately or both. I welcome that. I want that. And I need that. But I really want you to know I've got this. For all of us. Not just me, for all of us. Thank you. RJ is watching you closely. He is reacting, not leading. You're not leading, RJ. You're reacting, and you're overreacting. But you're trying to do it in a passive-aggressive way to fly under the radar. If you think that RJ is reacting and overreacting, but doing it in a passive-aggressive way to fly under the radar, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel RJ's trying to fly under the radar, and Sandra, you're right. That's what he's always been. Sandra's going to say, RJ's always been sneaky like that, trying to fly under the radar, right? Try to play both sides or try to make both sides happy. I get it. You're right, Sandra, but I want to know in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you think he's trying to fly under the radar. But my radar's too good, RJ. I got the best radar on the planet. You can't get past my radar, buddy. He wants the benefit of your clarity. Right, you want to use my content topics because they're clear and concise without the risk of realignment or without the risk of alignment. You want the benefit of all my work without realigning with me. And then he enjoyed the attention from the defendant's group, but doesn't want their baggage. So you want their attention, but you don't want their drama. But you know where there's a defendant, there's a lot of drama. You can't have it both ways, man. My lady says 1 in the chat. Eli, you're like Pete. And you didn't listen, Pete. You didn't listen. And it went over your head, right? Same thing for RJ, right? Right, Sandra? And you didn't listen, RJ. I should play my own clip. I have it on my Coach Eli Classics channel where everything is like private or unlisted. I should play that clip. I should use that. I should clip that out. It's my own clip. I own it. And I'll just do sound bites of it. And you didn't listen, Pete. You didn't listen. Whew. And it went over your head. Hey, Gigi, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. 55 in the box, making it rain, right? He is trying to carve out moral superiority without confrontation. So you're trying to sit on your moral high ground, RJ, without confronting me because you know I'll call you out on the truth, right? You want to have the best of both worlds without me calling you out that your association with that drama group is the problem, right? That's That's what you don't want to be called out on, because you know that, but you want to reap the benefits of both worlds, and then you don't want them attacking you. Which, listen, RJ, they're going to do what they're going to do regardless of what we do. You have to understand that. The passive aggression is unresolved tension, not confidence. That's what it is, RJ. It's unresolved tension. It's not confidence. People can see that. We can read right through that. Most important, this is not someone coming at you. This is someone orbiting you while trying not to admit it. So you want to hang out with me and be my bud, but you're afraid to because you don't want to be attacked by the defendant and his group because of some things that have happened that I'm not going to talk about, some things that they've done to you, many things. I have all the video clips and everything. I'm not going to put it out. I have it. I'm not going to stoop down to that level. But I do have all that, right? So you fear that group and you don't want them attacking you because they've put the fear of God in you because you've let them. This is someone orbiting you while trying not to admit it. He's not coming at me, he's orbiting me. Yep. That's why it feels weird, because it is. It is weird. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's weird. It's weird. It's really weird. You heard that the defendant wants RJ to do some more ASMR videos. I remember those. You know, GLM was talking about that. And look, some people have been reaching out to me. I do not agree with what GLM is saying about RJ regarding some of those ASMR videos. I do not agree with you, GLM. I've heard the original streams and you are taking it out of context. I have love and respect for GLM, but GLM, I don't sign off on that. That's not what RJ was trying to do or come off like. No, it's not true, GLM. GLM is here now saying that GLM, you have your opinion, but all I'm letting you know is that when you put out stuff like that, that's on you. For me, I'm just stating what I know. It's all good. Number 8, strategic note, not advice, just observation. You didn't lose anything here. If anything, the contrast is doing the work for you. The contrast between myself, RJ, and the defendant and his entire drama group, big difference. And wait till you see to what the defendant did yesterday and what he said about my lady on his stream. Oh my God. It's comical. We're not triggered, but it'll explain everything. If anything, the contrast is doing the work for me. My content stands on its own. His engagement collapses without borrowed heat. So that's what happens, RJ. The defendant's group is borrowed heat. Without that borrowed heat, your engagement goes way down. I can help you bring up that engagement with positive, non-drama content. All you have to do is ban them all and ignore them and work with non-drama people. That's the answer. I can't say it any more clearly. You don't want to do that because you're afraid they're going to attack you. And you're afraid of some other things. But you got to get past that, man. If you ignore them, they'll just stop permanently. I stayed centered. He stayed reactive. And the numbers already told the story before either of us finished reading the transcript. And whatever he responds to here, the numbers will speak for themselves. They will. I'm going to take a quick break here in a second. We're at 49 minutes. We're 1/3 of the way through. This might be a 3-part show. Let me say this before I I get off the RJ thing. And he may be referenced a few more times later on in the stream, but this is the main part I wanted to discuss about the video he put out earlier this morning. RJ, again, I have a lot of love for you. I think you're a great guy. I have respect for you. I think you have a big heart and soul. I think you really want to create something great, right? You say that you need to keep your channel clean because, you know, other people are looking at collaborating with you. The Special Olympics, has chosen you to go meet the new Pope, right? That's all great. I respect that, right? I'm trying to support you on that. Here at the GNA, we're good people. We're positive people. I reached out to you basically offering you the world in exactly the ways you want it, but you didn't want to collaborate with me, and you said it's because I'm suing the defendant, and you don't want drama around your channel, and you don't want my channel that you think is tied algorithmically to the defendants to be tied with yours. First of all, I detached myself algorithmically from the defendant. You know why? Because I talk about things. Yes, I am mentioning him without mentioning his name by saying the defendant, right? So YouTube's not going to put that together. I also don't use any of his topics, and all of his people are banned here. So there's no more algorithmic connection between myself and the defendant. Plus, he stopped rebroadcasting me because I've been taking him down for copyright again, and I'm enforcing my copyrights. You're a good guy. You have so much to offer this world. I've been trying to get through to you regarding the same exact issue for the last 7 years. My own people are telling me to just let you go. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong about that. Not because they don't think you're a good guy, because you're going to continue to go back and forth instead of finally choosing the right side and doing the right thing. I'm going to tell you, RJ, Sandra is right about everything. So is Tia, so is Don, so is ODS, so is everyone. Everyone is right when it comes to the situation between you and me. They're all telling me that I should just leave you alone and let you go. And I am going to leave you alone. I'm not bothering you. But the reason why I keep trying with you is because I believe in you, RJ. I believe in you. I don't give up on anyone that I know is a good person. And I know I'm not the problem. And I know you know I'm not the problem, right? I don't give up on people, RJ, especially good people. And I know you're a good person. And I do hope that you take this whole stream with a grain of salt. But we'll see what you do. Are you going to try to respond to this to try to incite the defendant's audience and turn it into a drama stream and get that audience and start the cycle over again? Because I'm going to tell you what, RJ, this is the only time I'm going to speak on this, right? Because if you want to keep doing the back and forth with them, I'm not going to respond any further after this. And that outrage cycle is going to die out for you, right? I know how the game is played now. I'm playing it better. You're trying to say you know how the game is played, and you're also trying to say at the same time that you're playing the game better, but you're not. You're showing us otherwise. You have a chance to do the right thing and move yourself forward in the positive way. And I'm still here for you. I'll always be here for you, right? But if you continue to want to play both sides and speak about me passive aggressively, you know what? I'll just quietly be your friend behind the scenes. And whatever happens between you and that other group is on you. If you talk about me, even passive aggressively, I'll correct the record every time. If you continue to use my topics, I will correct the record every time. Okay? Unless you properly attribute where you're getting that. If you don't, then I'll attribute myself when people take things from me. Fair enough? Lots of love. I wish you nothing but the best. You're more than welcome to reach out to me behind the scenes. I'm open to doing a live stream with you on my channel or your channel or both or pre-recorded. I'm open to having you come on the podcast with Don and I and doing an interview. I'm open to all that. I'm offering you the freaking world, and you're basically kicking me to the curb because you think that I'm still involved in drama. I'm not involved. I was never involved in drama. I was being exploited commercially. I was being defamed, and I still am. And that's why I'm in court. And you're basically, you're a God-loving man, and you're a real American, like your father raised you to be, RJ. Your father raised you to be a real American, right? And I'm a real American too, RJ, asserting my rights as an American that are being violated. And you're getting mad at me for asserting my rights, my civil rights and my copyrights as an American? You'll figure it out, man. Enough said. All right. I'm going to take a quick break. Oh, the end. That's funny, man. I can't say that. Oh, gosh. Let me see here. Okay. All right. Just queuing up some music here. All right. Music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for 5, 6, 7 minute break or so. And we'll see you all for part 2 on the flip side. Stick around. We'll be right back. All right, we are back live. We are back live. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah. Yeah. Woo. All right, welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here today. It's been a very interesting show so far, lots more to come. And it's just very interesting how some people will behave on YouTube just to get traction, to make some money. But most importantly, a lot of people have made YouTube their identity. A lot of people have fixated on one or two people. I'm one of them. People have fixated on me, and they have made me their identity, which goes hand in hand with their content. It's like a content dependency thing. It's like really, really bizarre. And ODN has said it best in the past. ODN, remember back in the days when he used to say, this is bizarre. It is bizarre behavior because it's a content dependency. What I've been doing here lately is clearly defining and explaining everything that's going on. And that's why we're starting to grow here, and we're starting to finally get some respect. Right? Respect is important. If people don't respect you, they're not going to support you. They're not going to follow you. They're not going to believe in you. If they don't believe in you, they're not going to respect you. And if they don't respect you, they're not going to support you, right? Anyway, let's just go ahead and scratch it and get right back down to business, okay? Let me make sure everything is rolling smoothly. Let me make sure.
This is bizarre. It is bizarre behavior because it's a content dependency. What I've been doing here lately is clearly defining and explaining everything that's going on. And that's why we're starting to grow here.
All right, we are all good. All is rolling well. Let's get back to it. So this is going to be a corrected, deep behavioral read across 5 different aspects, okay? And it's going to have a very heavy focus on the defendant's segment on his live stream that he did last night regarding my girlfriend, Dawn. So we've got RJ's live stream from yesterday. We've got my live stream from the day before. We've got the defendant's live stream, and we've got also the podcast that Dawn and I did, episode number 44, where Dawn was redeeming herself as a public figure. That was the title of that's the title of the podcast. Great podcast. Check it out. Tia, thank you for your comments. I still need to get back to you. Sorry, I've just been so busy. No excuse, but thank you for your wonderful, lovely comment on the realness of the podcast, because that's exactly what it is and what it was, and what we always try to do here, is be real, right? There's also I actually was able to export the entire live chat from RJ's live stream yesterday regarding the defendant's group of people, including him, that were there. There's been a lot of analysis that has gone through this, and I know how to do it pretty quickly. And thank you to ChatGPT for being around, because you can analyze transcripts and YouTube live chats and comments and postings and all that and put it all together and make sense out of it. But you have to feed it the right information, right? So This is going to be combining all the stuff that's happened in the last maybe day or two, right? Evolving around this RJ thing and what the defendant said about Don last night. Number one, first correction. RJ versus one of the defendant's associates. Two different channels of behavior. What RJ is doing, speaker behavior, in RJ's transcript, he's setting boundaries. He's trying to set boundaries, right? And I believed it. I still do believe it. But that's not what happened. RJ is calmly framing boundaries as a self-regulation and purpose tool. And again, he got this topic from my Boundaries Walking with Purpose stream, the evening before he did his stream the very next morning, right? The voice is instructional and values-based, not reactive. He is driving the bus conversationally, and the theme is internal locus of control. Boundaries equals how you protect your peace / your purpose. Great topic, right? What one of the defendant's associates is doing, chat behavior. In the chat log, the associate appears, and their behavior is not commenting on what RJ is speaking. So they go in the chat. They're not there for the actual stream. They're there to condition him, right? It is live audience steering. Short, punchy prompts that attempt to escalate emotion, push confession / commitment language, or force posture. Example, say it with your full chest energy, right? So in essence, the audience is trying to prime RJ into what they need him for as part of their content strategy, and it evolves around me. And they were only there because I started talking to RJ again, right? That's a fundamentally different function than RJ's purpose of the stream. RJ equals content. One of the defendant's associates equals pressure / pace control. Key dynamic. When someone's power comes from pushing others into a heightened state, a calm, values-based host is a threat because it denies the emotional fuel and denies them narrative control. In essence, the defendant's group of people was there to try to steer RJ into what they need from him regarding, their content around me, because they've made me, the product of their entire group when it comes to content. So they were trying to steer him back into that. And they've done that successfully over the past 4, 5, 6 years, right? And for now, RJ has kept away from it. I hope he keeps on staying away from it. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping for the best and praying for the best, right? Correcting the record, RJ is the speaker on that stream. Chat is separate. You can read them as two different types of behavior. Teaching versus provoking. I'm not interested in reactive pacing. I'm interested in substance. There's a huge difference there. ODN. I don't agree with some of the things you folks are saying in the chat, but it is what it is. That's why I don't screen record the chat, at least for the time being. Give me a second.
I hope he keeps on staying away from it. We'll see.
All right. Number 2, the defendant's Don segment, what it is structurally. The part where the defendant talked about my girlfriend Dawn for about 10 minutes, I think it might have been up to 20 minutes, is not random. It is a structured persuasion sequence. Here's what happened. Number one, he opens with a credit hook to sound fair-minded. And I'm paraphrasing that, he's trying to give Don a little credit. Number two, claims historical innocence. That's garbage. I never had a problem with you. Wasn't invested. That's a bunch of baloney. You accuse me of exploiting my girlfriend, yet at the same time, you not only exploited me, you exploited her on our members-only live streams. You can't sit there and accuse someone of something that you're doing, right? I never exploited Dawn. Dawn wants to share her stories, and so do I, and that's what we do here. We're far apart in our content style. You're drama, and we're purpose-driven, and we're motivational-driven, and substance-driven, and we're here to help people become better people. Your drama. You spun it in the way that you needed it for your drama group and your defamation for dollars smear campaign during that time. And now you're trying to rewrite history. You're trying to erase the record. I've got all that. I've got all those streams. I've got everything. I'm not going to go back and put it out there, but I could. People don't even need me to put it out there because they know what I'm saying is the truth. But I have it if I need to show it, right? Even in court, if I have to show it, I have all the videos. Number three, reframes his prior behavior as justified commentary. No, it was commercial exploitation. You said some very nasty things about my lady, right? Certain things that I don't even know if your lady was around during it. I think your lady was around during that time. If your own lady, who you try to make come up like a saint, signs off on what she did to Dom back then I don't even know what to say about her credibility at this point, right? He's saying, paraphrase, it was cringe, a natural reaction, and he says that he gives back what he gets. Excuse me? You give back what you get? No, you take, and then we call you out on it, and then you respond to us calling you out on the truth. You try to flip it, right? Don and I were sharing our truth. Don was going through some things, and we did some streams together. Some of them didn't go as planned. Things happen, right? You decided to commercially exploit it. You bought a channel membership from a sock account to basically illegally use our paywalled content. You basically, what do you call it? You circumvented the system. You have a history of circumventing, so we all know that. You're circumventing a YouTube live ban. You've been banned off this platform over 3 years ago on 5 channels. You've come back and been removed on at least 5 to 10 more. And you just don't stop circumventing. Now you want to justify it, right? Not gonna work. Let me see here. Number 4, shifts blame source onto me. Anything came out of Eli's own mouth. Excuse me? I speak for myself, and Dawn speaks for herself. And don't sit here and try to condition your audience because now you're in a circuit civil case and all this stuff can be used against you, right? Don't sit here and try to kiss my woman's ass on your stream last night as a way to try to regain, loyalty and superiority and to show your audience that you're living on some fake moral high ground. Give me a break, man. Nice try. Nice try. Number 5, recasts Dawn as a victim / unwitting participant. This is the wedge, positioning himself / the group as the ones who see it clearly. No, you don't see it clearly. Maybe you do, but you're choosing to present it in a way that puts butts in seats and pays you money. Period. End of story. No one is buying what you were trying to do by saying what you said to Don last night. If any of you, okay, how many of you actually believe that story regarding what he was trying to do last night, say nice things to Don? If you believe it, put a 1. If you don't believe it, put a 2. Be careful because you're used to putting in 1. If you believe what he did last night was for a good reason, for a good cause, put a 1. If not, put a 2 if you feel he's trying to save face, especially during active litigation. And especially after what I filed yesterday. I filed every single video that he filed with the court that I had to put to private to protect my channel after getting a community guideline warning almost 3 months ago. It's about to come off the channel, like later on this week. If you don't believe it, put a 2. And I gave him. I made my filing. I pretty much summed up my whole case for that hearing coming up on February 6th, the spoliation hearing. In that filing, it's on the docket. They accepted it this morning. It's on the docket. You can check it out if you know where to go. He didn't talk about that. Why? Because there's nothing he can say. There's no spoliation. I have the evidence. I submitted it. He has it. He's probably watched the videos. He's probably tested the links. Perfect filing. It paints the whole story. I even attached his filings at the end to make it easy for Judge Stacy to go through it at the hearing. He didn't talk about it. He chose to talk about Don instead and tried to come off like he never had a problem with Don. And, you know, Don, you should get a... well, let's get into that. I don't want to say things that I haven't read yet. Okay? So you folks can put a 2 in the chat. There you go. TS says 2. Are the 2s coming? Respectfully, maturely, professionally says 2. ODN says 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Right. No one's buying it. No one is buying it at all. Number 6, moves to audience bonding and moral licensing. Some were mean, but we were pointing something out. What were you pointing out? Not some were mean, all were mean because you conditioned your audience to be mean to my lady for your content and to incite donations and to commercially exploit not only me, but my lady. And then you're trying to say I'm exploiting her. You should be ashamed of yourself, man. You should be ashamed of yourself. And what I've been doing with these correcting the record streams that you don't respond to any of the substance is clearly showing exactly what all your tricks are, to the point of where even your own audience doesn't believe you anymore. They don't. What's really going on underneath? This reads like damage control plus wedge attempt, triggered by your podcast's strongest product. It was a great podcast. Your episode 44 of the podcast is identity stabilizing. Dawn on camera. Named, conversationally grounded, reflective about growth, and explicitly oriented towards moving forward, not ashamed. That was then, this is now. What's there not to respect about that? You know how much I respect Dawn, dude? You know why I respect Dawn? She has no shame over the past. She learned from it. What about your lady? She hides in plain sight on a YouTube sock account and very rarely comes on a panel with you audio only. And quite honestly, to be honest with you, it's a really weird dynamic when she does come on with you. And you're trying to make it sound like you don't bring her on camera and show her real name and all that, because you don't want people attacking her in the same ways you attack people, sir. You're a big, big contradicting hypocrite. That's the thing, man. Dawn has chosen to support me. She's chosen to sit by me on camera, using her real full name, dealing with your attacks, and basically owning everything and putting it out there to the point of, what do you have to come back at? That's why last night you had to do that, because you can't come back when we come out and say everything you say. Like, do we have to go back and do 8 Mile again? I am white. I am a effing bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom, right? When you do the Eminem, right? Then at the very end, you go and you throw the mic in the guy's face and say, here, tell these people something they don't know about me, right? So you got stuck because you got beat by Eminem again. You had nowhere to go with it because Dawn Eminem'd you. Dawn Eminem'd you. She took all the words out of your mouth. She owned it. And you had nowhere to go but then to try to kiss her ass, to try to save face in front of your audience that's seeing all this happen, that's seeing your enterprise of Eli content of 6+ years crumbling, falling apart at the seam. Nice try. Even Dawn, respectfully, my love, even Dawn beats you at your own game by just being herself. I'm proud of you, babe. You have no idea. You have no idea how proud I am of you. The defendant's segment tries to neutralize that by rebranding the entire story as, we never targeted her. We're reasonable. She's just misled by him. That's all you do, is you change the narrative. You flip things to the opposite of what they actually are. And people are clearly seeing it now. You're a walking contradiction. You're a walking hypocrite. I've been saying that for years. Finally, people are seeing it because Dawn, she got herself cleaned up over a year ago, and now she can clearly articulate all this stuff. And even Dawn, not just me, Dawn and I together are beating you, sir, at your own game by just being real. That's gotta hurt, right? That's gotta hurt. That's not kindness, it's reframing. If Dawn looks strong and stable now, yes, she does. It undermines the "they're a mess" content engine. So the only move left is separate Dawn from me here. So he separated Dawn from me. That's called the wedge, right? While laundering prior commentary through concern. Like money laundering, which I am not saying he's doing that. It's an example, like, there's like laundering commentary is what he's doing, right? While laundering prior commentary through concern, you're trying to rewrite the past. You're trying to erase the record and replace it with whatever you need right now. The data's there, man. It's already locked. It's a done deal. Correcting the record. Tight, high impact, no spirals. Notice the pattern. Credit her, then say I never cared, then say I'm justified, then say it's actually Eli's fault, then say Dawn is a victim, then say we're the reasonable ones. That's not accountability. It's narrative engineering. Narrative engineering, you're trying to present your audience that doesn't even believe you anymore. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel his own audience has lost faith in him. Yeah, they're still going to come around because they have nowhere else to go, in my opinion. Well, they do. They're just choosing not to go anywhere. They feel stuck, right? But put a 1 in the chat. please. A person who never cared doesn't deliver a long, detailed monologue about you. In this case, my lady. That's investment showing. Dawn speaks for herself, full stop. And boy, did she speak for herself. And boy, did it land hard. For her just being herself. Babe, real round of applause. Heck, what the heck? Let's give you a digital round of applause as well. Let's give you both. Well done, babe. Well done. Well done. We're at 1 hour and 31 minutes. My lady says 1. No, we're going to get to the Linus thing because that was my idea. I fed that into ChatGPT. They agreed with me. All right. Number 3, why episode 44 hits so hard. What it accomplishes that they can't compete with, right? Your podcast does something their format struggles with. A, it's long-form coherence, not clippable chaos. Episode 44 starts with clear framing. Dawn is named, present, and the topic is her redeeming herself as a public figure. That alone collapses a lot of the mystique/targeting incentive. There's no gotcha hunt when someone stands in the open. Transparency speaks for itself. That's what it says. In other words, right? B, it's growth narrative with then versus now. You explicitly say, interesting moments happened, but no shame, then versus now. That reframes the past as context, not identity. That is poison to an audience trained to freeze a person in their worst era. This is what this guy and his audience does. They pick your worst moment in life that was years ago, or maybe decades ago, and they continue to paint you as that person, even if you've turned things around 1,000,000%. That's what they do. Now people are seeing it clearly because of the way that we're presenting it, right? And people can make their own choice who they want to support. That's on them. Okay. C, it's relational stability as the subtext. Even your micro moments are quietly powerful. You two pay attention to each other. You're coordinated, warm, and aligned. Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly the contrast you described. You don't have to say it. It is visible in how you operate. And I told that to ChatGPT, right? When you are who you are, when you have a great relationship, it just shows itself. And people understand that people in relationships have quirky, weird moments, or they just have moments in general, right? And Don and I have had that many times on camera, and people love it. The people that really support us, that love Don and I, they love it when we have those moments. The people on the defendant's side, they love to exploit that, and they like to reframe that into, well, Eli's attacking Don, Eli's exploiting Don, Eli's using Don for content, the same thing as exploiting, right? Eli said this, Eli said that, blah, blah, blah. We're transparent, man. Correcting the record. We're not here to relive the worst chapter forever. The whole point is growth and forward motion. Everyone makes mistakes. You correct the mistakes, you learn from them, and you move on. And you don't make it the highlight of the rest of your life. Dawn is not a storyline. She is a person with a voice. Let me repeat that one more time. Dawn is not a storyline. She is a person with a voice. Last night I did the most boring stream in YouTube history. It was boring. It was a boring stream. So I ran that through ChatGPT. Number 4, why your most boring stream worked as a system jam and why it starves the group. Your boring stream is strategically effective because it removes the two things an attention harassment cluster needs. A, it removes reactive payoff. Your stream repeatedly emphasizes intrinsic motivation. I do this even if no one was watching. This is who I am. Yeah. You know what? I don't need to make money at everything I do to be happy, including my YouTube content, my personal development content. That's basically an anti-hook. It denies them the ability to make you perform. B, it removes conflict-based pacing. Instead of reacting to provocation, you talk gear, craft, audio quality, and the how of your work. Windscreen, headset, studio mic upgrades. I talked about, why I do this and what I've done to make it better over the years, right? What I've done to improve my video quality, my audio quality, my delivery, all that kind of stuff. C, it's normal life in Oh, sorry. This is important. You become unusable as content. Again, this is important. You become unusable as content. C, it is normal life in public, a dominant signal without aggression. Being boring on purpose is a way of saying, I'm not under your control, sir. I can choose calm. I can choose silence. I can choose mundane. That's why it lands. It is not a clever comeback. It is refusal to participate. Something you should learn, RJ. Refuse to participate. Refuse to participate with them, and you'll be in the same position I am, and you might get maybe half the views I get on this stream. Correcting the record. Some people want a reaction. I'm practicing not feeding that. If you want to build life, you sometimes have to be boring enough to be stable. I'll tell you, man, being boring is the new thing on YouTube, man. I'm going to be boring as fuck forever now. What do you folks think about that? What do you think? I'm just going to be boring AF from here on out. Just like I was in the stream last night. Even Tia was saying that she enjoyed the boring stream. Tia, I don't know what to say, but thank you. Thank you for stopping by, Gigi. Appreciate you. See you next time. Number 5, the hidden link across all 5 documents and videos and stuff like that. Control versus autonomy. When you line them up, RJ's content, boundaries equals self-directed purpose, autonomy. One of the defendant's associates' chat style, urgency/pressure language control attempts. Your podcast, episode number 44, stable identity, growth narrative, then versus now, autonomy plus meaning. Your boring walking with purpose stream, removal of reactive reward, craft focus, autonomy plus refusal. The defendant's dawn monologue, wedge plus reframe plus moral licensing, control via narrative. So the what's really going on is less about any single comment and more about this. You're building an ecosystem that functions without them. And when you do that, their main lever, provocation, equals reaction, equals clip, equals pylons through the comment sections of videos, through the chats of live streams, through the comment sections of community postings. All of that stops when you build an ecosystem that functions without them. You need to do the same thing, RJ. You need to be able to function without them. Whether you admit it or not, you are showing dependency on them to get your numbers up. I can help you get your numbers up by working with a more positive group like us. It's your choice. If you agree that that makes sense, put a 1 in the chat. That basically, if RJ wants to really grow, he has to do the same thing we're doing. He has to build an ecosystem that functions without them. Do you agree with that? Put a 1 in the chat if you do. Put a 2 if you don't. Let me see here. And here comes, we're getting towards the end of the second segment, and I'm going to take one more break. But this right here, I know the defendant is watching. How you doing, man? Just because we're in a circuit civil case doesn't mean we can't talk. There's no law against that. It's not going to affect your case or my case. But you're watching, and stick around for this, okay? Because this is going to sum it up in ways unlike anyone's ever presented about you before, sir. You're going to see, or you're going to hear it and see it. Yeah. ODM puts a 1 in the chat. I don't think you've been boring. My stream was very boring yesterday, ODN. And if you think my boring stream wasn't boring, I don't know what to tell you, man. Then maybe it's impossible for me to be boring. I don't know, dude. It's all good. TL1, respectfully, maturely, and professionally 1. Don, thank you so much. Now, listen to this. This is good. This is really good. Number 6, the defendants protect my girlfriend contrast claim. Why it is... Let me say that again. The defendants protect my girlfriend contrast claim. Why it is rhetorically convenient. Rhetorically convenient. The defendant's Don segment includes a built-in virtue shield. He implies you failed to protect Don while he's the protector type. What this guy won't try to get his audience to believe, to soothe himself, self-soothe himself, and to, try to continue to lead that audience to believe he's something that he's not, right? This is clearly virtue signaling. It's virtue signaling. What is virtue signaling? Virtue signaling is the act of publicly expressing opinions or taking symbolic actions to show you have good moral values, primarily to boost your social standing or self-image, rather than from genuine belief or to affect real change. So virtue signaling is the act of publicly expressing opinions or taking symbolic actions to show you have good moral values, primarily to boost your social standing or self-image, rather than from genuine belief or to effect real change. He's virtue signaling because the truth to his audience would basically put him out of business. And I'm not trying to put the guy out of business. He's doing that to himself. His whole entire business model, for the most part, has been around my name and likeness, right? And boy, this guy has accused me of virtue signaling for many years. And like I've said over the years, it's been a massive projection of his own insecurities, and his stream from last night clearly shows it. Do you agree? This is virtue signaling? Do you agree? He's accused me. He's told me I'm virtue signaling. He basically projects on the people exactly what he's doing or what he is. Every time. Every time he comes at someone. It's a projection. The issue is that protector framing is rhetorically useful because it is a non-falsifiable in a live stream rant format, he can claim, I never cared. He can claim, I was just reacting. He can claim, I'm actually concerned. He can claim, I'm the reasonable one. How many of you are buying that? No one's buying that over here, sir. I don't think your own people are even buying that. For poops and giggles, I don't even think your own girlfriend is buying that. Or maybe she'll pretend to buy it because she doesn't want you going off on her. Because I have a feeling if she disagrees with you on anything, you'll go off on her, in my opinion, based on what you've done in the past that we've seen out here on YouTube, right? You see, having a good woman like Dawn, she calls me out on my stuff, I call her out on hers. And you know what? That's why we work. We hold each other accountable. You won't even allow your own woman to hold you accountable. First of all, you've got to start holding yourself accountable, which you don't do that. So you're not even open to accountability in any way, shape, or form. So that's a huge part of the issue, in my opinion, that I see. And I've seen for years, right? All while spending extended time on Dawn and inviting the audience to morally judge her anyway. Correcting the record. One clean line that wins. This is the line here. Protection isn't something you announce while talking about someone for 20 minutes. Protection is what you do when they're not useful as content. One more time. Protection isn't something you announce while talking about someone for 20 minutes. Protection is what you do when they're not useful as content. So, in essence, we're being ourselves. We're not reliant on their content, right? We may use some examples of them every now and then, but the majority of our content is not about them, especially on the podcast, right? And when we do talk about them, all we're talking about is behavior. All we're talking about is their behavior on YouTube and why they do it and what's actually going on and how crazy it's been. The way that whole group's been run. Unbelievable, right? All right. So we're 2/3 of the way done. It's only going to get better when we get back. The real good stuff is saved for the end, okay? Everyone puts a 1 in the chat. Thank you so much. 44 in the box, making it rain. Let me queue up some more YouTube, royalty-free YouTube music. I haven't seen Queen Helen Casey around. She's on Twitter. I see her, and I also see her in the chat, in the GNA moderator group chat. But I'm going to start off the break playing her favorite song, Otis McDonald, Magic Part 2. My lady probably knew I was going to do that. She knows everything I'm going to do. She can read my mind. She's good at that, right, babe? Let me see here. Music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for another break, 5, 6, 7 minutes or so. And we're going to wrap things up on the flip side. Stick around. We'll be right back.
then you have magic.
Welcome back, everyone, to Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you can all join me here today. This is the third and final segment, and I got to tell you, over the break, I went over to the defendant's channel, and the main person that he's working with in his group of drama content, they're both really triggered. The defendant made a posting, and he's just quoting everything I've said in the past about, telling RJ to pick a side. Even on this stream, he's watching me religiously. He has a fixation on watching me. So does that other lady in Florida that works with him, acting in concert, right? I'm not in the drama, sir. I'm not. Just because you're fixated on me and you've made me the product of your content, and I'm correcting the record and I'm stating the truth in a cool, calm, and collected way, doesn't mean I'm in the drama. If you want to feel that way, that's on you. And I've said a lot of those things that you put in your community posting. That was a long time ago. We've all done things. You've done things. And we've all moved past them, right? You don't see us talking about those things all the time and then massively commercially exploiting them and continuing the same narrative for years with the same people. And wow, all over the place. Now, what's even more just cringy, in my opinion, and just a pathetically desperate attempt to regain narrative control is that Florida lady is just talking about the positivity and stuff like that. Hey, people can speak how they want to speak. I don't agree with everything that's said in my chat, but I'm also not going to silence people. And if they say things that aren't true, that's on them. If they say things that will, basically get YouTube to take action on them, or there's a need for platform enforcement, that's on them. That's not on me. But the thing is, you have to spin the entire narrative around me or your audience dissipates, ma'am. Now, and yes, Dawn did own Jamie. And yes, she did. She absolutely did. Now, we didn't want to say it like that, but that's the way that you put it out there. So if you want to put it out there that way, then yeah, that's a truthful statement. You can laugh your A off anytime you want. Who cares about, us not remembering certain things? Okay? Who cares about all that? Now, you have a fixation on me, ma'am, and on Dawn and our content, because that's the only thing your audience wants. That's the only thing that keeps them around. Now, here's one more thing. You're starting to put out screenshots regarding, GLM's, I guess, license information or background check and all that. You're making threats of all that, ma'am. And I'm just going to let you know, ma'am, you are posting things that violate the terms of service. And here's the thing. If at any time I feel someone's violating the terms of service, just like you have the same right to do so, we can report that to YouTube. And I'm sure many people have reported that. But I'm going to make a promise to you here, ma'am, that if you do a stream live on YouTube and you do put out GLM's background check and all that, then a lot of people are going to be using platform enforcement tools to make YouTube aware of your harassing activity. Because in my opinion, your channel is just one big harassment channel. That's all it is, right? And because GLM is standing up to your nonsense, right? You have nothing else to come back with. You have to amp it up with extreme harassment, or you get absolutely no traction. And if you haven't noticed, you're not getting that much traction anymore. You're not. Even your own people are seeing right through you. So whatever. It is what it is. So let me make sure this is going through.
If you do a stream live on YouTube and you do put out GLM's background check and all that.
All right, the final part of the show. Now, let's sum up the behavior of the defendant on YouTube for the last 8+ years in a way that clearly nails it better than ever before. I fed this to ChatGPT. So basically, the defendant is virtue signaling. Please give me the deepest analysis of why he's doing this. More context. The defendant has been saying for years that I am the one virtue signaling. But in reality, I see it as a projection of his own insecurities, and he's been using YouTube as a security blanket for comfort, just like Charlie Brown's best friend Linus goes around always dragging his security blanket everywhere. Do you need your security blankie, sir? Is YouTube your security blankie? Is that why you fight so hard to keep that audience around, because it's your security blankie? Okay. This is the best analogy ever regarding him. Okay. Yes, what you're seeing in that Dawn segment is classic virtue signaling, but not in the shallow look how moral I am sense people use online. It is more precise than that. The defendant is using morality talk as a defensive technology to regain control of the frame after your podcast made his usual frame unstable. Yeah, we took all the air away from your typical shows. Here's the deepest read of why he's doing it and why the Linus security blanket analogy fits so well. Number one, what the defendant is doing, moral laundering plus frame takeover. In that long block where he goes off on Dawn, the defendant isn't mainly trying to persuade Dawn. He's trying to persuade the audience's conscience. You're trying to persuade the conscience of your audience to keep them around. You don't care about Dawn. You never have. As a matter of fact, I don't think you really care about most people out here. You care about what keeps your audience around, what keeps you getting paid, and what keeps on patting you on the back. That's it. He does this by taking his prior pattern, ridicule, commentary, memes, targeting, and running it through a moral filter. Wow, sir, are you having a reality check that life isn't the way that you want it to be? Life is just life. And through that moral filter, he's trying to put out, I never had a problem with you, meaning Dawn. I even gave you credit. Some people were too mean, I admit it. Too mean. Some people, a lot of people, you led them to be mean. You basically incited them to be mean. You amped them up to be mean because that opens up their pocketbook. We weren't attacking you. We were criticizing him. You were attacking both of us. Because when you couldn't get to me, you switched gears to her. You accused me of exploiting my woman when you're the one that was exploiting her and still exploiting me. You still do it to this day regarding me. And last night, that was another attempt, in my opinion, to exploit Dawn as content. But you try to do it in a moral high ground way. Failed miserably. You're an unwitting victim. You're an unwitting victim. I'm basically the one who saw you being exploited. I already mentioned that. It's a projection. It's basically what he's doing and then trying to flip it on me. That's moral laundering. Turning behavior that reads as harassment/ridicule into behavior that reads as concern and principled commentary. He's attempting to convert mockery and fixation into protective concern. That conversion is not accidental. It is a response to pressure. Number 2, why he's suddenly doing it now. Your podcast removed his easy villain story. Your episode 44 of the podcast did something powerful. Don is stable and accountable. The tone is not reactive. The story is growth, not chaos. That breaks a crucial ingredient his content needs. The target must look chaotic enough that the audience feels justified consuming their humiliation. When your podcast made Don look grounded and human, he had a problem. If he keeps mocking, he looks cruel. If he ignores, he loses the narrative. If he attacks, he risks escalation and backlash. So he chooses the only move that protects his brand and keeps you as a topic. I'm not attacking Don. I'm defending Don. Wow, man. Wow, man. And if I didn't take the time to put this all together so people really truly understand what's going on in your head and what you're doing compared to what you're trying to say you're doing, then no one would ever know. I'm the one that's going to keep analyzing all this very deeply until it stops. I'm not attacking Don. I'm defending Don. You're not defending shit besides yourself. That's why the virtue signaling pops out now. It's been popping for ages. He just keeps on flipping it and saying, I'm the one virtue signaling, right? It's a projection, right? It's a self-reflection. When he looks at me, it's basically, him speaking to himself. He looks at me and he calls himself out in his own crappy behavior, right? Number 3, why virtue signaling is his security blanket. Why virtue signaling is his security blanket. Here's where your Linus analogy is actually dead on. Here's where your Linus analogy is actually dead on. Listen up very carefully. Before I get to that, let me check out the chat. Yeah, I'm trying to minimize my swearing, GLM. I'm trying to become a better person. So I said poops and giggles, right. So number 3, why virtue signaling is his security blanket. Here's where your Linus analogy is actually dead on. Linus doesn't carry the blanket because he's cold. He carries it because it regulates his nervous system. One more time for clarity. Linus doesn't carry the blanket because he's cold. He carries it because it regulates his nervous system. The defendant's equivalent blanket is, I'm the reasonable one. I'm the protector. I'm the truth teller. When he starts feeling exposed by filings, why don't you talk about my filing from yesterday, sir? You always talk about everything. You skipped my 50-plus page filing for the upcoming spoliation hearing that has all the links of the videos that you have currently put on the docket that are private. You now have links self-hosted by me. You can download the videos and you can stream them. Now, you don't have permission to put them out there publicly, and if you do, then I will report that to the court, and there is a protective order motion in place for that at the hearing coming up. So, yeah, why wouldn't you talk about that? Because how are you going to justify that? How are you going to say to your audience that there was ever any spoliation that I created when you have all the evidence now? It's on the docket. I filed it for you. I did your job for you, sir. I'm the plaintiff in this case, and I've been doing your job for you, which makes me look very reasonable. And because I did your job for you, I offered it in advance. I offered it to you initially through email. You turned it down. You said, I'll let the court handle it. You even filed the emails in that thread, which I would have done that if you hadn't done it. So you did me a favor there, right? And I just said, whatever. I'll just proactively put the evidence on the docket. But you're not talking about it because you have nothing to say about it. What are you going to do? Spin it into, I need the analytics. I need the views, and then I need the chat and all that. Well, if you want that, you can get that through regular discovery, because you never, ever, referred to that when you shared my video links in your filings. You were only sharing the video links to corroborate the quotes that you got from the transcripts, which you have all those transcripts. You showed the court. I even refiled your own paperwork where you put that you have all the transcripts transcribed. So that will automatically verify the authenticity that my videos that I've sent to you in the filing are authentic. You have all the proof. So you're not going to talk about something that's going to make you look, let's be nice and say ridiculous, right? Right? You think you can outwit me. You think you can outmaneuver me. And I'm not even trying to do anything. I don't have any problems with anyone. But you think you can outmaneuver me. You think you can outthink me. You think you can outdo me in everything, right? You think you can trick me and fool me. It doesn't work. I'm the one, sir. I'm the one that's going to hold you accountable for the very first time ever in your 40 years of life, right? When he starts feeling exposed by filings, by platform pressure with the copyrights and all that, by your calm content, what I'm projecting is my passion when I raise my voice. It's passion. You want to spin it into being triggered? I'm not triggered. I'm feeling pretty good, to be honest with you. He reaches for moral posture the way Linus reaches for the blanket. So when he starts feeling exposed by filings, by platform pressure, by your calm content, he reaches for moral posture the way Linus reaches for the blanket. Not because it's true, because it is comforting. It's very comforting, huh, sir? Yeah, not because it's true, because it is comforting. The security blankie, right? It does four soothing things for him. 1, reduces guilt. I wasn't bullying, I was helping. Number 2, restores status. I'm not a troll, I'm a principled critic. Number 3, maintains permission. Audience, you're still allowed to enjoy this. Well, they're allowed to enjoy whatever they want, but they're beginning to lose faith in you. Day by day, minute by minute. Number 4, prevents accountability. If he's protecting Dawn, then criticism of him becomes, you don't care about women. So yes, virtue signaling is not just a tactic, it is self-medication. Figuratively speaking, of course. That's Linus, and that's the blanket. Beautifully stated. Beautifully stated. YouTube is this guy's version of Linus's security blanket. YouTube is his security blanket. Number 4, why he accuses you of virtue signaling projection as inoculation. When the defendant calls you the virtue signaler, he's doing 2 things. Letter A, preemptive inoculation. If he labels you virtue signaling first, then anything you do that's principled can be dismissed as performance. It is a way to make your ethics non-credible by definition. B, this is the big one. I've been saying this for 6, 7, 8 years about him. Projection of insecurity. Virtue signaling accusations often come from someone who craves moral authority, fears being seen as mean or petty, and needs to believe they're the good guy. Bravo, 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 bravo. If he were truly secure in his role, he wouldn't need to litigate who is virtuous. He'd just do his content and move on. The fact he keeps returning to this theme suggests he is threatened by the possibility that the audience might see your composure as real and his posture as performance. Performance bravado. Performance bravado. Performance bravado. Whoa. Performance bravado. They're seeing it. So he projects the performative label onto you to protect his self-image. So he projects the performative label onto me to protect his self-image. Bravo, sir. You are legendary. Wow. Wow. Great work. Number 5, the hidden tell. I was never invested plus long monologue equals contradiction. One of the cleanest psychological tells, and babe, start getting your quote in now. We're going to be going off the air in about maybe like 10 minutes or so. One of the cleanest psychological tells in that whole block is he insists repeatedly that he never cared and wasn't invested while spending a long, detailed segment doing exactly that. He needed content. He needed content evolving around me without using my content because he fears going down for copyright again. And because of everything we've done in a good way, right? He couldn't attack us because Dawn's gotten clean and she's turned her life around. He can't attack her on that. If he attacks her, he looks bad for attacking a woman that struggled with alcohol that's turned it around. That contradiction is not a small slip. It is the signature of someone trying to overwrite the record. That contradiction is not a small slip. It is the signature of someone trying to overwrite the record. Yeah, you're trying to delete the record and replace it with what you currently need because what you needed back then makes you look bad now. Right? Wow. For the last 6 to 8 years, this guy has created a narrative around me. He has led people to believe that he's a certain way, he's this and that. And now I'm not the one exposing him. He's exposing himself. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel that I'm not the one exposing him. He's exposing himself. And share your thoughts about it. Sir, you're literally exposing yourself by me just clearly stating your behavior and articulating very clearly what you've done and what you're currently doing. When a person is truly not invested, they don't enumerate their history with someone, justify prior name calling, explain their moral reasoning, and coach the target to take a step back. Yeah, you're trying to tell Dawn, in other words, to take her life back. You're in other words, trying to tell her to leave me. And last night, I told Dawn about this, and I was listening to it while I was preparing dinner and stuff. And Dawn was on the couch. I was preparing dinner last night. And I told her about it. I said, I'll just play it for you tomorrow or whenever, right? And right now she's heard the story, so she doesn't even need to hear it, right? But yeah, when I heard the guy say that, take a step back or take your life back or whatever, like, I'm not saying I'm the one that did the work. She did the work to turn her life around health-wise. And she needed to do that. And she did do it. And again, I'm not trying to take any credit, but she was with me during all this time. And I was supportive of it, and I helped her get better. I didn't do the work. She did the work. I supported her and helped her. Yet you're trying to send a message and say, take your life back, take a step back. This guy's no good. He's no good for you. You're contradicting yourself because the proof is how she is now compared to how it used to be. You can't argue that, man. You can try, but you're going to lose every time. And the more and more you try to argue that speaks for itself, the more the shit's going to keep sinking, man. That's investment. That's obsession management. That's narrative control. If you haven't heard yet, babe, get that quote in as soon as possible. All right, so Don's going to get the quote in. All right, let's continue here. We are at 2 hours and 27 minutes. Number 6, why the Don kindness is actually a wedge attempt. The credit he gives Don is conditional and strategic. He gave her credit, I'm paraphrasing, he gave her credit for shutting me down from talking about his parents. Did you pay attention to the whole part of the show? I used it as an example, and there was a reason to talk about it. And I ended up explaining it to her. It was a lead-in and a segue into getting into what we were going to talk about regarding Dawn. And she understood that. So if you think she was trying to shut down, hold on. Okay, it's all good. If you think she was trying to shut me down regarding that, it had nothing to do with you. She just was waiting to get to, more detail about the point of the stream, which was redeeming herself as a public figure. I never had a problem with you until you talked back. You're the one that started it. You're the one that attacked first. She didn't even know who you were until you came at her. Well, she knew a little bit about you because you were coming at me. And all she ever has done is defend herself from the stuff that you were doing and exploiting her commercially. You're a victim of Eli, of me. Is that all you got? You think that that's going to tear us apart? Do you know how much in my head I was laughing about this last night? And I don't think Dawn is laughing, but she's not upset. Dawn is like, wow, she's probably thinking in her head, wow, I just have never met anyone that has tried to spin things so many different ways just to try to convince people he's a certain type of person that he wants them to perceive him as, and he has to keep on spinning narratives to keep that perception as what he wants the public to accurately depict him as, which is not who he really is. Wow. This isn't kindness. It is a recruitment pitch, which is not going to work, obviously, framed as compassion. He's trying to produce one of two outcomes. Dawn distances from you, take a step back, or two, Dawn hesitates to speak publicly again. If she knew people were like this, she wouldn't have probably come out on YouTube and do all this. Babe, put in the chat when you get a second here. Put in the chat. You're going to keep on doing the podcast with me and other shows, and you are not concerned one bit, regardless of what anyone says about you, even in a negative way. We'll deal with it at that time, right? All right. We're on the final part here. Let me make sure that Dawn got her quote in. Let me get her quote in right now. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Dawn says, YouTube turns into a security blanket when scrolling feels safer than sitting alone with your mind. One more time. YouTube turns into a security blanket when scrolling feels safer than sitting alone with your mind. Thank you for the ones, people. I think ODN says, I think they were around the defendant too much and it influenced their brains. Yeah. GLM, do you plan on going live later tonight? Because if you do, I can pop on. I would love to pop on. We can have some conversation. It'll have to be around 7:30 or 8 p.m. Pacific, our time. Let me know in the chat. 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out. So I'll stick around. But there's more. More on the Linus analogy. Folks, you got to tell me what you think about the Linus analogy. That's great. Tell me the Linus security blanket. That's great. Some people use outrage. Some people use moral posture. When the pressure rises, the moral posture comes out like Linus and the security blanket. Not because it is true, but because it soothes them. Not because it is true, because it soothes them. It's very soothing. Here's the straightforward principle of the matter. We're not doing performance morality over here. We're doing real growth in real time. Now that's devastating because it reframes his virtue talk as self-comfort, not truth. Your reaction posting, sir, that I'm sure will continue to come all afternoon and then some, and maybe a live stream later tonight or tomorrow or whatever, right? It's all a self-soothing mechanism, right? Self-soothing, right? It's the security blanket, right? YouTube is the security blanket. Bottom line, the defendant's virtue signaling here is happening because our podcast made Dawn look human and stable. That's because that's what she is. It spoke for itself. His prior ridicule would now read as cruelty. And I even think his audience is beginning to see that as well. His own audience. And he needed a blanket to regulate his image and justify continued fixation. And he needed a blanket to regulate his image and justify continued fixation of me. So he wraps the same behavior in concern, calls me the virtue signaler, and tries to wedge Dawn away from me. One more time. So he wraps the same behavior in concern, calls me the virtue signaler, and tries to wedge Dawn away from me. Your Linus analogy fits because it captures the essence. The moral posture isn't his truth. It is his comfort object. One more time. Your Linus analogy fits because it captures the essence. The moral posture isn't his truth. It is his comfort object. That's everything. Wow. 2 hours and 35 minutes. Great show. I won't be live tonight. Flex said, come to his channel. Okay. Will you be live tomorrow morning, GLM? When is the next time you're going live? Because I'd like to pop on a panel with you and catch up. Got 20 likes during this stream. I can't even talk. We got 20 likes during this stream. Thank you so much for all the likes. Please like, share, subscribe, and bang the bell and select the notification so you don't miss anything. That's that. It's 3:01 p.m. Pacific, 6:01 p.m. Eastern. I'm on the West Coast, 3:01 p.m. I'll be going live here on GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development from a walk in a couple hours or less. So keep it locked here. Got a lot of love for all of you. RJ, if you would like to talk behind the scenes, I'm open to it. If you would like to really turn this around, you know what to do. The only reason why I responded today is because you tried to talk about me without using my name. And I'm okay with that. But I think there's a lot more there. And I see the frustration. I see you're feeling torn between the two sides. You more so care about being attacked by the other side. Right? And all I'm saying is that, hey, all you have to do is block them all and ignore them. And they'll run out of steam soon. They'll talk about you once or twice. If we do streams together, they will probably rebroadcast you because it'll be your content, not mine, right? We can ignore that and do our thing and let the whole thing just burn itself out. That's all. Yeah, GLM, I'd be happy to talk more about those aspects on one of your panels. If you're around tomorrow, let me know. You're very welcome, Tia. Tia says, thank you, Eli. I have a lot of love for all of you, GLM. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Don, my lovely lady, Tia, ODN, and Lexi, Gigi, Lexi, that was here earlier. Thank you so much. And anyone else that I may have missed. Love you all. With that being said, have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.